Hi, I'm here to talk to you about college applications. Now, I'm sure all of you have had to apply for a college. If not, you wouldn't be here. So, as I'd like to start out with, college applications are an important part of getting into college in the first place. Now, there are a variety of how college applications can start out and what exactly they ask for and what they require. Now, the main point of my talk that I'm going to talk about is that college admissions prevent qualified students from entering colleges. Now, this may not make any sense because most of you may be thinking that college, the whole point of colleges is to prove that you are qualified in your education and therefore you are going into that college to further increase your education. However, my first supporting claim states that SAT scores, one of the biggest factors that helps one get into college, do not properly display one's ability. Now, I'm pretty sure it's been heard there, the testing facility Kaplan says that they can help assist you in your college test scores, such as their main phrase that higher scores are guaranteed or your money back. Now, the main thing about this is that a lot of these services are very helpful in the long run, and it has been proven that these services have improved test scores through their website. However, it has been seen that Kaplan charge fees are quite high and are actually unpayable to most students at the current high school rate, that regardless of the success of their program, it costs a lot more than it would actually be. Another point is that stated in an LA Times article that SAT scores, the problem with SAT scores is that students are not taught, another problem with tests such as SAT scores and an AP test is that students are not properly taught their subjects. It was taken in a survey by LA Times that about only 2 schools out of Southern Carolina, the average only 2 schools that were able to score AP scores that were able to apply for college credit, while the top school in Southern California with the options of test prep were able to score in the top average of being 95.3% on their highest tests. Now, the problem with that is that it goes with the facts of the area that regardless of there being qualified students in South Carolina, that they do not have the facilities and the choices that students in Southern California have that would give them the advantages in SATs and the AP courses. My second point, it goes into colleges minimize the amount of people that can actually enter. Now, the problem with college entry is that the amount of applications that are accepted have increased almost exponentially. About 3/4 of college application entry has increased based off of previous rates. Now, it was taken that from a writer Patrick Matamore, that at his Dartmouth University he graduated from. He wrote about the fact that the acceptance rate for Dartmouth recently has only been 11 to 12% of actual applications, stating that the amount of people actually getting accepted in colleges has dropped significantly, regardless of the college stating that all applicants are up to quality of their students. My last point would go into that the problem with colleges is that the costs do not allow for low to mid-range income families to actually pay for colleges. It has been recently found that the government has issued for Pell Grants a rise in their interest rates, however, an increase in grants for students. Now, the problem with loans is that many students are afraid of taking loans due to the fact that the high interest rates may affect them later in life, regardless of not finding a job or inability to actually complete college. The main thing, though, is that with the Pell Grants is that they do provide the facilities for one to go to college, but many might not understand exactly the benefits of Pell Grants and may refuse to accept and intend to work extra hours, therefore decreasing their productivity in college because they have to balance a work schedule at the same time as their courses. Another point that I'd like to make is for myself is that recently, in my own experience, is that my college income level, according to the FAFSA website, is not enough to accept any grants or any types of financial aid other than a few loans. The problem with this is that currently my father and mother both do not work, and my father is retired and unable to return to work. And based off of this fact, regardless of his retirement, the FAFSA and the government find that my family is unable to accept actual loans and higher the Pell Grant or even the California grant. Now, the problem with such things as the grants is that it really limits students from actually wanting to get into higher prestigious colleges that they could actually enter based off of their education alone. And in conclusion, I find that college applications need to decrease the requirements and also the financial burden put on students in order to increase qualified applicants that could easily benefit with the use of college and increase their efficiency in life.
All right, well, we know what the topic area is. I think it's a little confusing, though, because you start off talking about the admissions process, but it sounds like most of your argument, especially in the second half of the speech, is about paying for college and that there are substantial problems there. I'm not sure that there's a lot of dispute on that particular issue, but at least it's a little bit more focused. The information in the first part talking about problems with the SAT, I think that could be an issue on its own if it's developed a bit, but the only information that we get is a comparison between some colleges in South Carolina and those in California and whether or not they have AP programs. But we don't get much data about students in South Carolina not being able to get admitted to prestigious universities like Dartmouth, for instance. Dartmouth being one of those Ivy League schools, you know, I'm not expecting that they're going to have a particularly high admissions level. 12% sounds like it's you know, about right for those kinds of schools, but we don't have any evidence based on the admissions that says that's because, you know, that they're all people who are coming from rich areas or well-off areas. We don't have any averages about the income or the background on those folks, and so I think that you need to develop that argument a little bit more and either focus on that and dump the argument about college costs, or switch and talk about the college costs and leave out the stuff about testing and scoring and all those sorts of things and focus on the problems that exist in paying for college. Like I said, I don't think there's a lot of dispute that it's difficult to pay for college, but there might be some argument that people are underprepared, they are not adequately informed about what's available to them, that the colleges and universities fail to encourage people to use the appropriate financial aid systems or something along those lines. You've got a personal experience that you use as an example, and that's very practical, but I'm not sure how generalizable it is. The FAFSA standards, for instance, are supposed to be applicable to everybody. You're saying they're not applicable to you. You know, it puts you kind of in this limbo about paying for school. And it may in fact limit some of your choices, but there's no explanation about why those, you know, focusing the change on choices because of income is problematic. What's the consequence of that? So you end up at Cal Poly instead of UC Riverside. How harmful is that to your career, to your long-term earning potential, to your ability to learn the material that's being covered? I think that most of the students here and most of the faculty here would say that it's a minimal difference, but maybe you think it's a substantial difference. Then maybe there's an argument there, and that's what needs to be developed a little bit more. So organizationally, it was a little bit problematic. The claims, I think, need to clarify what the dispute is a little bit more. There's a lot of information, but you're all over the place about what that information ends up meaning. All right, thank you.